Hey guys, it's Rose from Rewritten Vintage Journals, and finally I get to show you my Castaway journal. So this is entirely not my idea. One of the first journal makers that I ever, and she's multimedia I would say, was this lady by the name of Orly Avernini. I'm so sorry if I said it wrong, and I'm sure that I did, but she produced this video where her daughter helped her, and it was called the Burden Journal. And I recently had to get on a group and asked if they knew who this woman was, because she was such an inspiration to me. So I did my spin on it, and when she did hers, she took it apart and dried it, and then she will use her pieces of journals or the pages in other projects, and I wanted to leave mine intact, hopefully, if it worked out and wasn't destroyed. So it did kind of work out. So let me introduce to you Castaway. And I made this journal because I'm such a perfectionist, and it takes me forever to kind of do a journal, and I fuss and fiddle, and every page has to be specific, and the book cover, and it can be quite maddening, and it can be quite frustrating. So I wanted to cast that away and embrace imperfection and flaws and all of those things that are such heavy on the creative process. So I didn't think that I'd like it, but I absolutely love it, because I really don't have to do anything to it unless I want to. So this is my version of her idea. And let's just get into it. So I kept all the strings that I bound the journal, because I used pieces of metal, and I used the string, and I tied them together so that they wouldn't fall out of the journal itself. And so I used these strings and wrapped it up so they wouldn't fall out. So I kept all the strings. I kept the fabric, that I kept it closed, and then when I was taking the journal apart and letting it dry and opening up, the sand and the little pieces of paper, and at one time there was a piece of what's it called? Oh my goodness. Seaweed was attached to it. So I kept all of that, and inside this cover, you can feel on the back there's still some dirt in there, and I just left it because I don't really know what I'm going to do with the journal yet. So when I created the journal, the spine was attached to the book cover, and it didn't overhang this much. it overhung some because I wanted it to be beat up, but not this much. So this actually pulled away from the spine, which if it was tighter it would suck it in. And then I'm not sure if the book itself shrunk because the overhang wasn't that large before. Let's just make sure. Okay. So this is Castaway, and I actually cast away all those flaws and imperfection or perfection. And we went to Harbour Beach, and that is right down the road from us. And it is a home of the world's highest tide. So the tides come in, and the drastic change is unbelievable. And I can't remember, it's like, oh gosh, 16.2 meters in like a time frame. And then once we left there, we went to Baxter's Harbour, which is another little harbor right down the way, and there is a famous waterfall there. And so I got to cast away again under the waterfall. And the funny part is I actually fell. It was really slippery. And so I fell. The journal was in the water. My phone went flying. My glasses went in in the pool. And I actually did find my glasses after a while, which I never thought that I would. So welcome to Castaway. So the pages are tattered. I put fabric. There's fabric in each signature. How many signatures are there? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe, right? So there's fabric. There's a piece of fabric, I think, in every signature. And then in between, and so here is where I used a beautiful leaf, and I just put that in, sandwiched it between the two papers, and again, and I just love, like I didn't do anything to these pages. And look at the beautiful prints. Now I do a lot of eco dyeing, and I couldn't get beautiful prints like that. And it's bizarre. It might have to do with the salt water. And then here is where there's the string, and there's where I had a piece of a metal flower that was rusty, and I hung that there. And I put some staples. And I mean, it leached through a couple pieces of paper. There's lots of different papers in here. This one here, the heavier paper really. And I just love that. I think that was black currant. And see, it went through. Like, I just can't believe it. It went through 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of paper. Just fabulous. Some book pages in here. This is an envelope that I stapled in, and it got battered around. Drug. Thrown in the water, in the salt water. And run up and down the beaches. There's some watercolor paper in here. These here were berries that I put in there. Black currants. There's the black currant leaves. And there's all kinds of ripples, and I don't know. I just want to leave it. I could try to iron the papers flat. And then what I did was I actually used real photos. So this was a real photo. This is a gentleman on a boat, and it got wet in the salt water and then dried, and I just really love the effect. This was such amazing. It was an amazing experience for someone that really tries to be a perfectionist, but fiddles and fluffs so much about it. It was just easy to let it go. And this is beautiful in old papers from 1951, and this was from a purple smoke bush. I just really love how it turned out. This was some scrapbooking paper. I don't know what was there, but it didn't really turn out. And this here my intention was to be a pocket. Lots of colors leached out. Some old ledger paper. And this here was, I think, a rusty washer. You just see a faint imprint. And these are copper staples in the water. The salt water really made them rust. And it bled through like, I just really love it. There's an old square nail. I think that was a geranium. Some watercolor paper, which was a little bit thicker, and it pulled. As I was pulling it up and down the beach, it really pulled. And this here is an original watercolor, not by me. But I stapled that in and that went. And like, look at this. Just beautiful. Just went through so many layers. And I'm eco dyeing right now, and I hope I get some of the results like this here book did, but I have a feeling it's not going to be. There's that rusty, it was a big rusty paper clip, and the rusty flower. And here is another original vintage photo, and I put the paper clip in to clip it in, and it really rusted. So I mean, it is battered. It's still together. I can't really believe that it went through two beaches. Two beaches and a waterfall. This is going to be a and this, oh yeah, there's the impression of a key. There was a key there and some leaves. And I love this, like the browns. I don't know, it must be the one, it must be, I did absolutely nothing to this book to eco dye. It was a dry book, a dry journal with pages, and all I did was put the pieces of rust and the leaves in, and look at the, I just can't believe it. Like, I've been trying to achieve the brown, and it's got to it has to do with the water, the salt water. And I really loved how this made the impression over here on this paper. This was a pocket that I stapled. And then I really loved how this turned out. This is 1800s ledger paper, and then an eco print over top. It's just beautiful. And then there is a real photo again. And this is a rusty hinge that it looked like it slid in the book and made two impressions. I just can't get over the colors. Some ferns, another little tuck pocket. Some more of that beautiful impression there. This here is heavy, I don't think it's watercolor paper. I think it's heavy acrylic paper. And there's a beautiful vintage photo of a boat and a guy paddling towards it. And the rusty hinge and the paper clip and the eco dye. just love it. And we're getting to the back of the book and the pages. Here's the nails, rusty nails. And she's really bad. And when I was creating this, I thought to myself, I'm not going to glue the signatures in yet. I'm just going to tuck them in there and bound it all up, and then drag it up and down the beach. And then I forgot and I glued it in, and I glued my papers in. The funny thing is I used Fabri-Tac, and through all that water, salt water, it did not let go. And this here fabric did not let go, but what did let go is the old, the paper, or the fabric off the original book. And inside, if you feel that, minus the dog hairs, you can feel the pieces of the sand in there. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it, and I don't know if I'm going to fix this or not. It could be a perfect spot, like pockets or tucks. Yeah, so guys, that is my Castaway journal, and I absolutely love it. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it, if I'm going to keep it or if anyone would be interested in buying it. And I also am going to make a postcard of where the journals traveled. So if you see the video, it shows me holding the journal up in front of the sign that says Halls Harbour. So I think I'm going to make a postcard that goes in the journal showing exactly where it was cast away. So I hope that gives somebody some inspiration, and if you want to make one yourself, it's a fabulous idea. And it really was a journey. It was, I made the journal, I constructed the journal, and I took it for a drive to these beaches, and I drug it over the rocks and threw it into the water, in the salt water. So I hope you like it, and give it a try. Thanks for watching.